Welcome back, everybody. We are the Real Cinema Squad. My name is Ty. This is Roman. That's Austin. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and turning on those notifications to our content. It means the world to us. Today, we are going to talk about our top 5 superhero films. So all three of us are going to list out our top 5, and then we're all going to expound upon a few of those top 5. Some of them oversect, and it's no secret on a few of them what we love. But I'm going to go ahead and just dive right in. So here's my top 5. Number 1, Dark Knight. Number 2, Infinity War. Number 3, Thor Ragnarok. Number 4, Spider-Man 2. And number 5, which is probably on not a lot of folks' lists, but Batman Forever. And because of that, because this is a not as probably commonly listed superhero film, I'm going to talk about it. So, Batman Forever. It's got Val Kilmer as Batman. You got Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. You got Jim Carrey as the Riddler. Nicole Kidman as the love interest. We get Michael Keaton replaced by Val Kilmer, which Val received a lot of hate.
Yeah.
As Batman. And that's okay. I thought that he wasn't a bad cast for following up Keaton. But what I love the most about this movie is the villains. Like, I love Jim Carrey. He's one of my favorite actors, so getting to see him as a villain, as the Riddler, which is one of my favorite villains in the entire Batman universe, and then getting Two-Face on top of that. So you get this star-studded cast of villains.
Talk about another great actor, Tommy Lee Jones, man.
Exactly. You get really great actors, and Val Kilmer is a good actor. So I think the route that they were trying to do, I think it was a great cast. Was the script a little childish? Yes. It was definitely a kid's movie. And I remember as a kid, this was one of my first Batmans that I truly fell in love with. And to this day, I will sit down and watch Batman Forever. So I love Batman Forever, but that's my top 5.
No, the thing about Batman Forever to me, and I don't hate on this at all, because I love all the Batman movies in different ways.
Yeah.
But Batman Forever, as a kid, seeing that movie and seeing the wackiness of it, and it really spawned a lot of those action figures too.
Yeah.
And I thought Jim Carrey as the Riddler and Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face had such great chemistry. And Tommy Lee Jones, in a way, had never done a role like that where he was that wacky.
Yeah.
Because Tommy Lee Jones is so dry humor that you have this role like that where he's just so insane over the top. I thought it was perfect. And one of the things I remember about Batman Forever the most is that I remember going to the store and seeing all the action figures. And I remember it was my dad's birthday. And my mom was like, okay, we're going to go to the store and we're going to get him something. Well, as a kid, I'm like, oh, we should get him this Riddler action figure. Knowing, obviously, that that's not for him. Right. My mom graciously was like, okay, let's do that. Yeah. Knowing that my dad was just going to give it to me. Yeah. And we got it for him. He opened it, and he was just like, oh, this is the greatest. And he's like, oh, you can have it. I was super pumped. Yeah. I think I manipulated that probably a little bit.
My dad would be like, no, this is mine. You gave this to me.
Yeah.
You can't play with it.
But no, Batman Forever, underrated. I think they did a good job, so I understand why it's in your top.
All right, so Roman, what about you? What's your top 5?
Yeah, I think we all can agree Dark Knight belongs on any list. And for me, it's not necessarily 1 to 5. These are just 5 that I love. This is a really hard thing to do, to narrow down all the superhero movies we've had into a list of 5. So Dark Knight, Captain America Civil War, huge Captain America fan, love all the movies. And then Superman 1978, the first Superman the movie, the first real superhero motion picture we got. Followed by Man of Steel. I'm obviously paying homage to both Tom Welling and Christopher Reeve's Clark Kent's at the moment. So it makes sense that there are multiple Supermans. And then last, the first Avengers, because it was the least complicated. It was the core group. It was great. The one I want to spend a minute on and talk about, as I said, is the original Superman, 1978. Like I said, it was the first big superhero motion picture. Christopher Reeve really mastered the separation of Superman and Clark Kent that we don't really see a lot in the movies now. Like Henry Cavill was great, but he was just Henry Cavill in glasses like these. There wasn't much of a separation of character there. John Williams doing the iconic Superman theme, Marlon Brando as Jor-El, who made a return posthumously in Superman Returns. Fun fact about that I cannot resist. Martha Kent in Superman Returns was played by Eva Marie Saint, who made her film debut in 1953 in On the Waterfront opposite Marlon Brando. And even though Marlon Brando had already passed in 2006, they appeared on screen again in the same movie. But Superman 1978, Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor gave a little bit of a wackier take. It was great. And it's just a good movie. That score just dominates the film. So many great.
It's a classic.
Margot Kidder is at this moment the definitive Lois Lane. Although I really think Rachel Brosnahan is going to give her a run for her money in 2025. I was stoked by that casting. But for me, Superman 1978 is on the list because it's what started it all.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
We had comics, we had TV shows and stuff way before that.
Yeah.
But that was what started the superhero motion picture. So you can't have a conversation like this without it.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Christopher Reeves is he fit that part so well. He looked the part.
Yeah.
I mean, still to this day, I feel like they cast based off of what Christopher Reeves looked like, which Christopher Reeve looked like Superman.
Yeah.
And before that, you really didn't. You had like some TV shows and that kind of thing, cartoons, but he really embodied. You have that whole saying, you could believe a man can fly. Mm-hmm. That movie, when it came out, you really could believe a man could fly because of the way Christopher Reeve portrayed that so well. And I think what helps that so well, just like most movies that John Williams scores, is John Williams' score for that movie. That Superman theme is still one of the most iconic movie themes ever made. So that alone would make that movie one of the greatest superhero movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a whole entire playlist of just instrumentals from movies. Yeah. And obviously that one is one of the major core elements of that playlist, and I let my kids listen to it, and we literally will just listen to John Williams, Star Wars, Jaws.
Oh yeah.
We'll listen to Superman, like Indiana Jones. Like, it's just so fun to listen to those classics. They truly transformed cinema, in my opinion, with those scores.
And we always talk about definitive. You know, the definitive Lex Luthor is probably Michael Rosenbaum in the Smallville TV show, but they brought back Christopher Reeve in a couple episodes of the Smallville TV show opposite Tom Welling.
Yeah, he's Professor Swan.
And for good reason. But Austin, how about you?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's some overlap with you guys in that realm too. I think it's hard to not overlap when you got some of these movies because you love them. So Dark Knight is in my top 5 favorite movies of all time, so that is in the top 5. Captain America Winter Soldier, to me, is the best Marvel movie of all time. It's incredible. Then you have Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire, Dr. Octopus, one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time, probably the best Spider-Man movie. Yeah. Then I'm sticking with the Batman theme. Batman has the best movies, in my opinion, when it comes to superhero movies. So Batman 89 with Michael Keaton. It's just, I love Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne. It's hard to beat. And then I'm going to go for a wild card here. Maybe it shouldn't be in the top 5, but in terms of animated superhero movies and portrayal of Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Bruce Timm movie, and that Batman animated series run was an incredible movie.
Yeah. All the more reason to be excited about the animated series coming up.
One of the things I want to talk about really quick is that Winter Soldier is really the one that stands out the most. It's the best Captain America movie, in my opinion. It throws Cap into a world that he's not used to, because at the end of his first movie, he ends up in the real world. He's trying to figure it all out. Then you have this corrupt government agency with S.H.I.E.L.D., which is actually taken over by Hydra. He figures out his buddy Bucky Barnes is alive. And then you meet Sam Wilson, played by Anthony Mackie. The dynamic between him and Scarlett Johansson, Steve and Scarlett Johansson's character, Natasha, is so dynamic and so just electric on screen. Yeah. It's some of the best parts of those movies, just their friendship. But I just love how Cap went to the ends of the earth, not only to save his friend, who was completely brainwashed, but he went against a government agency who he thought he was fighting for, and basically was like, no, this is not what freedom looks like. This is not what our country's built on, and this is what I'm going to fight for. Yeah. I mean, he says at the end of the movie, the price of freedom is high, and it's a price I'm willing to pay. And that embodies Captain America right there. So that, to me, is why that movie stands so high and why I wanted to mention it.
Oh, so good. And I hope that we get another on-screen moment with Natasha and Cap. Yeah. That would just be chef's kiss. So Marvel, if you're listening, please make that happen as well. Yeah. But we're going to wrap it up. Let us know in the comments, what are some of your favorite superhero movies? Which ones did we miss? which ones would you like us to do future episodes on, where we spend a whole entire episode on one of these, because we could literally spend entire episodes on each one of these.
Personally, would love to do an entire episode on the original Superman, but that's just
Yep. So that's what we're gonna do. But thank you for watching. We appreciate you as always. For Ty, Roman, and Austin, Real Cinema Squad signing out.